Per ESPN, Caleb Williams was looking to avoid coming to the Chicago Bears. We got to talk about why that doesn't matter right now and my personal feelings on this interesting article. All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So very interesting article just came out over on ESPN.com. It's all about how Caleb Williams tried to avoid coming to the Chicago Bears. And yet when you actually sit down and read the article, it's all about how Carl Williams, Caleb Williams' father, did not want his son to go to the Chicago Bears. And I look at this article in a very different way than most people. I understand that. I understand most people are going to look at this and say, Caleb didn't want to come to Chicago. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Number one, it doesn't matter. Caleb Williams is here. It's a very different coaching staff in the building. It's a very different offensive line situation. There's a ton of change that has happened from one season to the next. And if Caleb Williams wins here, who cares? He's not going to leave because he's going to be a god here in Chicago. But what I do find interesting is some of the quotes that came out of this article. Carl Williams told Seth WIckersham, who, I mean, as credible can get with this book here. I mean, the book, actually, I'm going to get the book, American Kings, a biography of the quarterback by Seth WIckersham. The quarterbacks interviewed in this book are endless. I mean, he's got Kirk Cousins and Drake May were interviewed in this. John Elway, Johnny Unitas, Warren Moon, the Manning family was interviewed. Steve Young was interviewed. Caleb Williams and his family were interviewed. So it sounds like an amazing book, and I'm going to get it, read through it, and actually come back later on in the offseason and give everybody the full insight on this. But my feelings just on this article being written right now. Carl Williams starts off by talking about Chicago is a place where quarterbacks go to die. And the article goes on to talk about how, because of that, he later says, I don't want my son playing for the Bears, which is what he told several agents about, the Bears situation. And he went as far as to try and take legal action to try and get things changed. He was going to have Caleb Williams sign with the UFL if things didn't, go that way. And here's the part. Here's where I'll start with this. As a father, you want your son to have the most amount of success that he can have. His son plays quarterback for the Chicago Bears now, but plays the quarterback position. And he said that Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. Is he wrong? Is he wrong? Has this not been the storyline? The best quarterback I've ever seen in my freaking life is Jay Cutler. And he wasn't very successful here. So seeing Carl Williams say that this is a situation that I don't want my son to be in, a team that I don't want my son to go to, trying to take action. Now, I do think, there's some things that go a little bit far, but trying to take action to try and make sure that his son doesn't end up playing for the Chicago Bears. Not only was he not wrong going into the draft, but then you watch how the season played out. I'm not going to lie to you. The most damning thing from this article is not the fact that Caleb Williams and Carl Williams did not want to go. And I don't even know if it's Caleb Williams. I think more Carl Williams than anything based on what you're reading in this article. Now, Caleb did say, I don't know if I can do it with this team. I don't know if I can win with Shane Waldron, which guess what? He was right. And the most damning thing from this article is the fact that we now have it confirmed, and I think we pretty much knew this anyway, but that at certain points, he wasn't watching tape with Shane Waldron. He was watching tape on his own. He was simply turning on the film. This is what Caleb Williams said. At times, he would watch film alone with no instructor or guidance from the coaches. No one tells me what to watch. I just turn it on. So in his rookie season, the young rookie quarterback had some of the worst offensive line protection in football. Had coaches who weren't developing him, who weren't trying to develop him, who weren't building him up. Had a situation where you went through multiple coaches in one season, where you had Thomas Brown come in, and then you've got new offensive coordinators, 3 offensive coordinators in 1 year, 2 head coaches. Where is Carl Williams wrong in all of this assessment of what the Bears were? Now, the hope is that what's happening now is changing what this team is. The hope is that now you're talking about being able to come out and actually have a team that is going to be able to win and is going to be able to protect the quarterback, and having an offensive mind that is going to help Caleb Williams to become a better quarterback. But a lot of this starts where he said he met with Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings. The two hit it off, and Caleb Williams began to dream of what it would be like to play for Minnesota. He said, "I need to go to the Vikings," he told his father, which Carl Williams then replied, "Let's do it." And he started the conversation on, all the legal things that he could do to try and circumvent Caleb Williams going to the Bears. So let's break this down. I can go play for Matt Nagy and Shane Waldron, who I don't know what the heck Shane Waldron is. By the way, he's nothing. Or I just had a conversation with Kevin O'Connell, who's an elite offensive line, who helped Sam Darnold get the bag throughout the season, who turned a 1 year, who continued at every point of Kevin O'Connell. Remember, the quarterback situation has not been stable in Minnesota. You had injuries happen. You've had to deal with. I mean, some Kirk Cousins years that are solid there, but you're dealing with injury. You're watching backup quarterbacks come in and be able to give you some similar production. You're watching them find a way to win games, continue to find their way into the playoffs. You're seeing all of these things play out. Just watching from afar. And then you actually get to talk to Kevin O'Connell. So if you're the quarterback, if you're the number 1 overall pick, who would you rather go play for? Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron, or Kevin O'Connell, who you've seen actually put a team together that has success in the NFL, and behind an offensive line, who you've seen actually protect the quarterback and keep that quarterback upright, with Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison, come on, dog. This ain't even a question. So yes, when Caleb Williams talked to the Minnesota Vikings, he wants to go play for the Minnesota Vikings. Who wouldn't? But I love the fact Ryan Poles stood firm. He told Caleb Williams, "We're drafting you no matter what." And it left the only option of, basically, based off of what this article said, going nuclear to publicly attack the Bears and the city of Chicago, hoping that it would make the situation untenable. But that's not what Caleb Williams wanted to do. He was concerned that if they did try and the Bears refused to trade him, that it would make a tough situation worse. And in the end, I wasn't ready to nuke the city. Then, after all of that, so this is all before the pre-draft process, which is why I got personal beef with this article here. So before the pre-draft process, this all goes down. After that, he meets with the Chicago Bears at the Bears facility. He goes and talks with Ryan Poles. He goes and talks with George McCaskey. He goes and talks with everybody that's in the building. And what Caleb Williams said, what Caleb Williams told his dad was, "I can do it for this team. I'm going to the Bears." So for me, when I see this article titled, "Book, Caleb Williams sought ways around going around the Bears," nothing in this article says that Caleb Williams didn't want to go to the Bears. Nothing in this article says that Caleb Williams wanted to get around going to the Bears. What it does say is that Carl Williams, who his father, who has a big say, who talks with a lot of lawyers, is essentially his team, is essentially his agent with the lawyers involved in all of that, didn't want his son to go to the Bears for valid reasons. And that didn't happen. So none of this at all matters. By the way, after the pre-draft process, Caleb Williams wanted to go to the Bears. So you're telling me that this is a Caleb problem in this article. And this is what I don't like. One, there's two things I don't like about this article. One, none of it has any bearing on anything that's happening right now. You just wanted to write something to get some content out there, right? Get some writing content out there, you know. And two, and I think this is the biggest thing. There's no name on the article. Doesn't say who wrote the article, just says ESPN. I looked. I wanted to make sure. If you're going to come out with this article at this time, taking it from Seth WIckersham's comments, and I would assume if Seth WIckersham wrote this, he would put his name to it because he wrote the book. You went through this entire process basically to say that Caleb Williams doesn't want to come to Chicago, but really he did want to come to Chicago at the end of it. But you wanted to bash his dad in the process of it, I guess is the point of this article. And you don't even have the balls to put your name to it. Like, this is the one thing that I will say about this. Look, I have takes. I have hard takes. I have hard stances. I'm not a fan of DeAndre Swift being on this team. I'm not a fan of certain moves that Ryan Poles has made. I didn't like the Ruben Hippolyte draft pick. I have a lot of hard stances. You know what else? You can see my face when I say them. My name is attached to everything that I put out, and I'll stand on it until I'm proven wrong. If you're going to put out an article like this, which to me is just, you had nothing to do, you needed some garbage writing to get out. If you're going to put out an article like this, stand on it. Oh, it's put out by ESPN. No, somebody wrote it, unless AI wrote it. Y'all letting AI do the writing up here? That's not the ESPN I know. I know the writers at ESPN. Stand on the article. You wanted to put it out. You wanted to get this out. You knew it was going to create clicks. You knew it was going to churn up feelings and conversation and all of that, which it did. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to have a conversation on it. And you know what? They're going to see us when we do it. And if somebody's like, well, you know, I feel like this is a Caleb Williams thing and he should be fine. You're going to see them when they do it. You had an entire article about the feelings that they had before they got to the Bears, by the way, which were incredibly validated when he got to the Bears. Like, validated to a point that we've never seen before when he got to the Bears. But you ain't even got the balls to stand on the words that you put out there. That's weak. That's weak-blooded, that's weak-minded, and that's weak writing. Let me know how y'all feel about this whole situation, man. In the comments below, I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow me on everything at Path the Designer. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I did my Locked On Bulls outro on this mug. Hey, man, that irritates me, bro. That irritates me because I think the only thing about this article that's truly damning is the fact that we now know that Caleb Williams was not getting help from Shane Waldron. That's the only thing we know, which is a bad reflection on the Bears, which is why his dad didn't want him to go to the Bears. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Get this off my screen, man. Peace.